everybody? Thank you again for everyone joining. Michael, check this out. I got to know, how was that interview with Grant Cardone? I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, and the next thing you know, he reaches out to you because you wanted to know what the heck is going on? Why was he in California? And what the talk is about potentially him running as as the governor of California. So let's let everybody know, how was it, and yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, so a couple of things that may have gone unnoticed. So number one is our conversation about you attending a Grant Cardone event in Irvine
Mhm.
is what sparked this, right? He saw that and left a comment and reached out. So I want to thank you because I've been trying to interview Grant for 3 or 4 years now and never had the opportunity. So
Let's go.
you sir made that happen. Second, he was very gracious. If you guys actually watch the video, the sound quality is not perfect. He was at a hotel and the Wi-Fi, actually, he said he was hardwired. He was hardwired in, and apparently the hotel bandwidth was not perfect, not great. And the reason I say he was gracious is he and I battled it for like 5 to 10 minutes before we just decided to hit record. Right? He joined, he unjoined. I sent him a new link. We tried to do lots of things, and neither Grant or I are technologists, but Grant was interested in doing the best we could. Nobody will see that. And then the second thing was wild. So I use StreamYard, right? StreamYard provides the best quality video and sound and all of that. And I use StreamYard for that video. But what happens when you're done with StreamYard is it downloads my copy, his copy, and then a copy to cloud. Now, typically speaking, these downloads happen between 30 and 90 seconds. For whatever reason, and again, it's probably the hotel bandwidth, the download for his portion took 62 minutes. And what Grant said, because again, Grant's a busy guy. He jumped from my thing to another thing to another thing. And Grant was supposed to be on a Zoom call for his next session on his computer. And he said, Michael, it's downloading on my side. What happens if I close this window? And I said, Grant, I think it's going to dump your side. And I think the audio quality is going to be worse if I don't get that copy. Now, again, I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've been told about StreamYard. So Grant said, this was a good conversation. I don't want to do anything that would detriment this. So he left his window open and he took his next call from a Zoom on his phone.
That's awesome.
He didn't have to do that. It was probably not the right move. I don't know what the next Zoom call was, but he offered to do that. And again, at the time, we had I had no idea how long it would take. I'm thinking 5 minutes and then 10 minutes. And I'm sitting in front of my computer because I want to close this down as soon as possible. And it took 62 minutes to download. And he was gracious. It was he didn't have to do that.
No, so you were connected to him for 62 minutes after, just to make sure that this was going to download
as best it could. And again, the audio quality is not great. It's on the hotel. I heard a lot of people talk about Grant as a person, like behind the pomp and circumstances in the theater that he puts out there. And this is my one interaction with the guy, but I was shocked. He didn't have to help me because let's be clear. The audio quality when we started, he could have very easily said, all right, we'll reschedule. I'll have my team reach out, blah, 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 and be gone. He could have dumped it right there, and I wouldn't have blamed it.
No, for sure he could have, yeah.
And then at the end, he certainly didn't have to say, hey, I'll leave my window up. I'll go take the Zoom call in another room. And, okay. So two gold stars for Grant right off the bat. So second, I've always wanted to ask Grant 3 questions. Right. This came about from an IG post he put out 3 years ago, asking for people in the depth of the pandemic to interview him. I had a very small channel at the time. His team said no to me, but I saved those questions. I actually created a video saying, hey, if Grant Cardone's team ever sees this, these are my 3 questions. And he went through them. It was awesome. Talked about what he did after selling his 2 houses before he bought his apartment. Talked about selling Lionel Richie's house, moving into a hotel. And then he talked about his superpower of being comfortable going backwards to go forwards, which is a superpower very few people have. So he was very gracious. He answered those questions first. Then we talked about the greatest wealth opportunity coming in the crash of commercial real estate. Then we talked about his passion for 10X California. And yeah, I had so much fun. It was so unexpected. You just never know what to expect. And I mean, come on. The fact he left his window open for 62 minutes when he didn't have to is crazy.
So, I mean, you know what? There's not very many people that get to interview him. Now I think there's more because he wants to get more on more podcasts and stuff like that. But it's awesome to be able to interview a billionaire,
Yeah.
and and he leaves the window open, and certain circumstances would allow you to be like, no, sorry, we're going to reschedule. It has to be perfect,
Mhm.
et cetera, et cetera. But then he decides to, open up his phone and leave the other way. Was super
Yeah.
gracious. That's pretty awesome because time for him is worth a lot of money.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because I don't know if you guys know this. You may or may not know this, but Grant does sell 1 hour of his time. It's 150 grand. So if you want to get 1 hour of time for coaching, it's $150,000. And I got
That's crazy.
150 grand of Grant's time for free. But
That's awesome.
and again, he answered the questions that were important to me, right? I've had those 3 questions for 3 years. And he was very gracious. He actually said, thank you for, putting this together. He had never heard some of those, at least 2 of those questions he had never heard before. And it was fun to watch him riff because, again, I caught him, I don't know, I don't want to say off guard, but I caught him kind of because he tells stories all the time, right? He talks about the 2 houses and then he talks about the first apartment, but nobody's ever blend those 2 together. And I'm like, dude, tell me about the middle. What happened in the middle? Like, you sold these and you bought, but what happened in the middle?
How'd you get there? Yes.
Yeah, like, I want to know about that. And he was very gracious. And then 10X California, it's really funny. Again, you could say whatever you want, and I've got plenty of negative comments about this. But if you care about California, which I do, I lived 50 years in California, finally gave up 2 years ago and left. I believe we need an outsider to come in because I believe all politicians in California are grifts, theft, stealing, whatever. We don't need the lieutenant governor, to become the governor because they have the same favors and the same history and all the same nonsense. They have the same dead skeletons buried and all. We need some outsider to come in and just kick over the apple cart. We need somebody to come in and audit shit and go, sorry, Mr. and Mrs. California citizen or California resident. I know you're paying a gob ton of taxes. I'm sorry we lost $40 billion on homeless. Nobody knows where the money is. I'm sorry we spent, I don't know, 50 billion, 100 billion on a train to go nowhere. Somebody's got to audit this nonsense and figure out who the hell got rich because somebody in there got rich. And if we're not comfortable bringing in an outsider, we will never know. The Democratic Party has a stranglehold on California. And unless you come outside and you break that up, we will never know. They will keep lying. They will keep stealing. You will keep getting less and you will keep paying more taxes. And it won't be on me. I left. I'm gone. But it's sad what they've done to California. And we don't need another politician. We need an outsider, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, spot on. I mean, we do need an outsider. And I think him looking from the outside in, he could bring something. And who knows? I mean, did he give you the feeling that he was running?
So I don't think he said it explicitly anywhere. But again, my opinion is really twofold. One, he is doing 10X California for one reason only. Again, this is my opinion. These are not his words. My opinion is he's trying to feel how activated California is. Like, does he have a chance? Or is it another Meet Kevin where you do all of this stuff and you get 2% of the vote, right? Meet Kevin, big YouTube. right? Grant Cardone is not interested in stressing out his life to get 2% of the vote. So that's what I think 10X
No.
California is. You know what the other crazy thing is?
What's that?
He doesn't have to do this. I mean,
No, he doesn't. Why would he?
how many people? I mean, if you know, a lot of people think he's a billionaire. Maybe you think he's worth 500 million. Who the hell cares? He is 68-ish years old, I think. He already has more money than he knows what to do with. He can't spend it all. And he is
No,
looking
he can't.
at coming over and taking on this dumpster fire of California. Are you kidding me? Why the hell would you leave that great life to come into the nasty, horrible, epic cesspool of politics? It makes no logical sense to me. No logical sense to me why he's doing this.
Do you think it's because of maybe tax sheltering?
No, he's already got all that. He's in Florida.
No, it's true too. No,
I don't think it's. I think, again, I think it's a calling. I don't know what else to call it. I think he is being called to try to save California or send California on a new path. And 10X California is his way to figure out if enough people are activated. And frankly, if the answer is no, he's going to be just fine. He's going to be just fine.
He will be fine.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was, and again, I want to give you kudos. It was our conversation about the first or second 10X California that I made an offhand comment at the end of like, hey, Grant, holler at your boy if you want to do it. And he did. I'm like, wow, that was easy.
You know what? That means he was tagged. That means he has people looking to see who is saying his name, asking, and they reached out to you, which was freaking awesome.
Yeah. But I appreciate this. I hope for California's sake, if it's not Grant, it is 100% an outsider. That's what I want for California. It has to be an outsider. And it's all up to California. It's my gut, my feeling is more than half of California is just stuck in a stupor of voting Democrat just because there's a D next to their name. And if that's you, you're going to get what you get. So,
and you will.
There you go. Omar, thanks for asking. Thank you for helping me get that making that interview happen. How can people follow you?
Guys, just follow me on IG at Invest with Omar. Got a bunch of cool stuff happening with the cat house. It's still there. And just follow along. It's a cool freaking series right now of what we're doing on one of our projects. So
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much too, Michael.
Thank you.